Mark Pope is going to have a successful tenure as the head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats. We're going to convince you why on today's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, writer and editor over at Wildcats Today, joined as always by my co-host, Carson Nash. Carson, it's almost Saturday. How are we feeling?
Feeling great. Very excited for this weekend.
It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a real rock solid weekend for the fellas. No question there. So, I mean, Carson, let's get right into this. Let's do it. I'm looking at this Mark Pope coaching hire, and the more that over this last month that I have researched on him as a coach, the more I am buying in. And listen, the fan bases across college hoops, I think that they're poking a little fun at Kentucky. And I'll be honest with you, the more I look at this, I don't see how you can feel that way. So I'm going to lay out my argument, Carson, and I want you to lay out yours, and we'll have a little back and forth on this. So I am sold on Mark Pope being a success at Kentucky. And the reason why I think that being a good coach, now hear me out on this, is more important than getting the super highly talented guys. Because now, 15 years ago, different conversation. Before the portal was a heavy thing and you could just go get players to fill a roster. The game's different now. Now, you can, if you're a good coach, you can go get a handful of guys from the portal and put together an elite roster. And at BYU, which as we have time and time again discussed here on this show, it is hard to recruit there. It is hard to get players who are willing to go play at BYU and, share in that faith and want to be there and want to do that. It's not easy to, it takes a certain type of person faith-wise to want to go do that. And, that's not easy to do. And Mark Pope was still succeeding. I know they were one and done in the tournament last year, but point here is he was succeeding with a lot less at BYU. Now he's at Kentucky and he's going to get the players he wants. The first thing he said, Carson, when he got to Lexington, I remember this. Yeah, I called 2 players in the portal to come play for me at BYU. They laughed at me. And now they call me back saying, you're at Kentucky, let's have a conversation. He's going to get the players he wants. We know that he's got the X's and the O's. If he gets the Jims and the Joes, this team can be elite. He can be an elite coach. So, I've got more thoughts, Carson, but what say you? Why do you, Carson Nash, believe that Mark Pope is going to have a successful tenure as the head basketball coach of your favorite team?
Well, I think you're right. You're spot on, because I think every player that we've gotten so far has been handpicked by Mark Pope. Because I think everyone that we've gotten fits his system the best that he runs it. Mari Williams is going to be a big man who can dish the ball out, set high ball screens, and basically facilitate an offense at the center position. He's a great defender. And then he went and flew to Vegas to go see Lamont Butler. He committed on spot. Yeah, because Mark Pope liked him so much. And you can go down the list. All these guys fit very well. Kobe Brea, sorry.
Yeah.
Brea,
is that right?
What?
Is it Brea, not Bray?
I'm not 100% sure. It's one of those two.
We've been saying Bray forever. I've never heard that. I thought it was Bray.
But either way, I think he might be the best player in all of college basketball for Pope's system. Yeah, because that kid can absolutely light it up. So I really think based on that, we just have to have trust as the fans to trust in Pope that he picked the best possible guys, and I think he did.
Yeah, he's got his guys, man. It's simple as that. It's like I look at this. Mark Pope has got the guys. He's talked about it. He's been trying to recruit Kerr Krisha for like 7 years now, and he's swung and missed like 15 times. He kept shoot or shoot. He kept shooting. He got his guy. At the end of the day, he's going to have a roster full of players that fit his system, but I think he's going to get better. Like he had the players that fit his system at BYU. He's going to get better players that fit that system at Kentucky. And I think, I'll tell you what, just hearing some high school recruits talk about him, I don't think he's going to have much trouble recruiting the high school players. I think he's going to get some Burger Boys, some McDonald's All-Americans. I don't think he's going to have any issue doing it. So I think let's call a spade a spade. As fans, we have teams we don't like. We have fan bases we don't like. And this is reality. And we make fun of them. They make fun of us. This is what makes athletics the wonderful thing they are. Sports, awesome. And Tennessee, Arkansas, after they hired Cal, they laughed at this hire. And I'm just telling you, I don't think Mark Pope is a guy I'd be laughing at. And it's simply because I think he's an elite college basketball coach. I think he's an elite coach who was at a place where it was tough. He won at his previous stop before BYU at Utah Valley, right? Utah State University of the.
I'll throw you this, Andrew. Go tell those fans to check out Danny Hurley's record before he got to UConn.
Wrote an article on that, yeah.
Tell them to check out Coach K's record before he went to Duke. So you can't really judge someone from their past because they're not at the school they're at now.
Yeah. The one player, the coach I looked at, Nate Oates had some success at Buffalo before he got to Alabama. Like, good coaches are good coaches. I believe that. I believe it's mentality. I believe it's understanding of the game. I believe it's understanding of how to recruit, what players you need to fit a system you want to run. And I believe Mark Pope has all that. I don't believe he was able to get the guys that he needed to take a team to that next level. BYU was a top 25 team. They were a very good basketball team last year. And I don't think he had half the roster he has this year. That's my whole argument. Are you taking last year's BYU roster or Kentucky's current roster? I mean, do you even have a hesitation to answer that, Carson?
No, it's not even close.
And it's because he's a great coach. He's got a great staff now. I love go and get Brooks from Baylor. I love everything that Mark Pope has done.
And I'll tell you this, and for the recruiting aspect, they went down to the EYBL circuit thing, and Mark Pope had a notebook, like a huge notebook that he brought to scout these players to make sure they fit a certain category that he wants on our team. Cal used to go down there and just say, "Hey, I was at your game. It was good seeing you." Just to the top 15 players, he didn't really look for anything specifically. And then Chin Coleman's just down there feasting off Cal at Jeff Ruby's or wherever they go.
I'll tell you this. One of the quotes, I was always sitting there in Cal's post-game press conferences, and one of the early games, somebody asked him, they said, "Coach Cal, like, when you're recruiting players, do you try and get guys to fit a system, or how do you go about it?" He goes, "We recruit the best players that we can possibly get, and then we build a team from there." And I'm like, and it's kind of funny because it hit me, and I was like, does that make sense? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that how you build you know what I mean? Like, when he said that, I remember.
And you gotta factor in this characteristic too. I feel like Mark Pope looks for these kids like character. Like, he looks for a good kid. So, like, if you put together a bunch of good kids, they're gonna gel better because they know what they're doing. I don't know. Cal, we've had some mishaps in the past where teams have feuded with each other because we brought in the wrong players. Like the team with Oscar and Severe, they hated each other, and it was a terrible situation. Just because.
And where'd you see them every Saturday night? Where'd you see them every night?
At the bars. They were out at the bars every Saturday, every Thursday too.
Yeah, like. And I'll tell you this, say what you want. I like, not every team's like that. I didn't see a single Kentucky player at a bar this year. I don't know if you did, but so not saying every Cal team's like that, but like he had. Do you think Mark Pope's gonna have players at bars? I don't think so. Maybe we could be wrong.
A couple of nights they get to go have fun, but it's not gonna be
and like everything. Yeah. And we're not saying kids shouldn't have fun.
Yeah, no.
In season. I mean, because hey, we're there.
Hey,
in season,
we have a good time, so we're definitely not saying not to have fun.
Yeah, no. In season, I just feel like it's not a look. You know what I mean? That a coach would really want. And so it's like, where would you see? You're not going to see Antonio Reeves. Like, the right players don't want to be doing that, I think. And
you didn't see Reed Shepherd. I promise you that.
Well, he's also like 14. I'm kidding.
It doesn't. I'm telling you, it does not matter, Andrew.
Well, there you go. But, you know, to me, it's once again, this is really simple. I think Mark Pope is a great basketball coach. I think Coach Calipari was great at selling a vision. I think he was a great recruiter. I think we can all agree he had some issues when it came to X's and O's. I mean, what we saw this year with the defense, I don't think his assistants help him much. I think besides Ulis, I think Ulis helped. I think everybody else.
In the later years, getting teams to come together. I just think that was part of our fallout.
So I don't think those will be issues for Mark Pope. And I don't think he's going to have as much raw talent as Coach Cal did. I don't think there's any debate to that. But I do think he's going to be a better all-around basketball coach, X's and O's. And he's going to get the guys for his system. He's going to recruit players, Trent Noah, Travis Perry. They're going to stick around for a while, develop, and then be good players. I think he's going to build the program that way. And it's not to say Coach Calipari is doing things wrong. They do things differently, very differently. And over the last few years, it hasn't worked for Coach Calipari. It's time for something different, something exciting to Kentucky fans. And I think that going to get 7, 8 veteran players that is the makeup of a team that can take you to the Final Four, that's what this Kentucky roster is going to be. And I think that should be exciting to Kentucky fans. It's different. Different can be good. It's almost why I really respect Coach Cal saying Kentucky needed a new voice. And I think it's true. I mean, I think they did. So that is kind of my take on Coach Pope. Carson, any other thoughts on why you believe he's going to succeed at Kentucky?
I don't really have any other thoughts than what I explained, but I will say this. Where college basketball is at now, just the fun fact of the day. So the day before the Champions Classic this year, Hunter Dickinson turns 24. Cooper Flagg will be 17 years old. So you're going to have kids who are 7 years older than the other. We play against Cooper Flagg, unfortunately, because he's going to be really good. But yeah, Hunter Dickinson being 24 and him being – I saw that today. I thought that is absolutely absurd.
Yeah. But that's the reality. And the older team, I mean, it's because Hunter Dickinson is a really good basketball player. He's older and really good.
And exactly, but college basketball is different now. We can't view it as like an NBA. It can't just be an NBA stepstone because that's not what will win you games.
Yeah.
What will win you games is these older kids like Hunter Dickinson. Hunter Dickinson won't sniff the NBA, but he will be good in college.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And once again, I'll ask you this. If you are a believer in Mark Pope, let us know why in the comments. If you aren't and you think he's going to be a failure, let us know why in the comments. That could be an episode. If we get a handful of comments of people saying why you don't think it's going to work out, we could run through them and break it down. So let us know either way your opinion on Mark Pope in the comments. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Keep hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already. We really appreciate it. We're inching closer to 1,500 subscribers, and then 2K is the goal after that because we're going to get a massive slip and slide. We had a little slip and slide for 1K. We're getting like a downhill one for 2K. So need your help getting there, folks, and we really do appreciate you. Hope everybody has an outstanding rest of your Thursday, an outstanding Friday, a great weekend, and we will see you next time.